minutes. So I put in a lot of effort to get my talk down to exactly 5 minutes, which is completely unnecessary. Since there's a little bit of time, I'm going to introduce myself. So my name is Diane, and this is my first time at SCAS. Gareth has asked me to do a flash talk in previous years, but I was busy getting married last year, and the year before that, I was on holiday, but Gareth caught me this time. I used to work with Gareth and Dominica and Susan at the Resuscitation Research Group and Save Life for Scotland. I actually worked on the PadMap tool that has been launched, but I have since left to do my PhD related to defibrillators. Oh, why does it look like that? I am someone who's really proud of my slides, and they're not supposed to look like this. So that is very disappointing. So I'm going to start my talk with something that's going to sound a little bit controversial. I think innovation is overvalued. And don't get me wrong, I think innovation is important, but I have a bone to pick with how we talk about innovation and what gets left behind in those conversations. Again, it's not supposed to look like that, but that's fine. So one of the scholars who has really influenced my thinking for my PhD research is Stephen Jackson. And in his essay, Rethinking Repair, he argues that our society obsesses over innovation, while maintenance and repair gets treated as secondary, something that is less visible, less valued, and something we only think about when something fails or breaks. And I feel like this argument is also very true for what we tend to see in out-of-hospital cardiac arrest systems and what we see in resuscitation research more broadly. So we love talking about innovation within out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. Here are just a few examples related to defibs. We have drone deliveries of AEDs. This has attracted significant research attention and funding. We have mathematical optimization models for pad placement, and the PadMap tool is an example of this. We have citizen responder apps, and in the UK, we use GoodSam, primarily for bystander CPR, but in other parts of the world, they also use these apps to deploy pads as well. To be clear, I do think that these are all interesting and exciting developments. However, innovations in this space tend to assume something that is quite fragile, and that is that the defibrillator is actually functional, available, and accessible when it is needed in an emergency. But the reality is that is often not the case. So in my PhD research, I've been learning a lot from pad guardians, and I've been mapping out the life cycle stages of a pad. And what has become increasingly clear is how truly fragile the infrastructure is. Currently, I've mapped out the life cycle as the 6 stages, acquisition and installation as 1, registration, routine maintenance, deployment, post-deployment, and transition. So at every single stage, things can and do often break. That stops a pad from being able to fulfill its life-saving potential. So for example, a pad can be installed but never gets registered on the circuit, or guardianship is not established or sustained over time. So we have things like the device getting neglected, and we get dead batteries, expired electrode pads, etc. We have many cases where a pad gets deployed, but then the device goes missing afterwards for days or weeks. So behind every pad that has been able to save a life is a pad guardian who is continuously doing the unglamorous work of maintenance and repair in the background. So guardians are the ones who are performing routine checks, replacing consumables, fundraising, encouraging registration. They're chasing down these missing devices. They're also reporting data inaccuracies on the circuit while also supporting other people to maintain their devices. This is just a few examples of this hidden labor that they do. And this essential work is largely shouldered by volunteers, as we know, and without them and their labor, this whole system collapses. So maintenance and repair looks like nothing when it's working well, and that's a problem. So if we want to improve survival outcomes, we need to start giving maintenance and repair the same attention that we give innovation. And we can apply that lens to innovations that we've talked about at SCAS today. So when we think about citizen responder apps like Good Sam, it's not just about uptake numbers, it's about how do we sustain engagement in 5 years' time. When we look at optimal placement of pads, which is a big thing for Scotland right now, it's not just asking where should we be putting them, but who is going to be taking the responsibility for maintaining them in an emergency-ready state over time. So I have a paper that's been accepted and coming out soon that goes really into depth about all of the hidden labor that pad guardians do and all of the creative solutions that they implement to get pads able to save lives. So give it a read when it is available online. Lastly, I just want to advertise that I am starting to recruit for my second study, which will be focused on how can we better support the work of pad guardians, and also how do we move towards more resilient and sustainable models of guardianship. So if you are a guardian or know someone who might be interested, feel free to contact me via email or scan that QR code and you can send me a message and yeah, get in touch. Thank you for listening.